Hello, Dr. Apratim. How are you?
Hi. Hello, everyone. I think a lot of our people have already joined in.
Yes,
Shriyal.
yes. So, thank you for joining us today.
Yes,
And
pleasure.
a very good evening to all our attendees. And welcome to the Aesthetic Medicine Digital Series. In celebration of the Aesthetic Medicine India's anniversary month, the AM Digital Series continues bringing to you an array of educational webinars and business sessions. We are persistently working towards planning and organizing sessions that could help the aesthetics community grow its business and make the AM Digital Series a truly knowledgeable sharing platform. If you have missed any of our past webinars, just log in to our website aestheticmed.in for the recorded sessions. Today, we have with us Dr. Apratim Goel, the CEO and Medical Director of Cutis Skin Solution. I would like to introduce her with a few words about her. Dr. Apratim Goel received her MD, DNB Dermatology from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal in the year 2000. With 20 years of experience, she is on the scientific panel of various national and international professional organizations, including Indian Association of Dermatologists, Venerologists, and Nephrologists, Association of Cutaneous Surgeons of India, and the International Association of Dermatologic Surgery. She is a trainer as well as a pioneer in various lasers, derma roller, botulinum, and fillers. Dr. Apratim runs a chain of aesthetic clinics in Mumbai and has special interest in MediSpa, infusion therapy, lasers, and practice management. To be up to date on the new technologies for skincare, she has been attending extensive training courses on various lasers, thread lifts, mesotherapy, botulinum toxin, fillers, and other cosmetic procedures at prestigious institutions in India and worldwide. She's keen on training the upcoming doctors in aesthetic procedures and runs her own training courses. Once again, thank you for joining us, Dr. Apratim. And for all our attendees, for any questions that you may have for our expert for today, you would see at the bottom of your screen a Q&A box. We urge you to please key in all your questions into the Q&A box. Dr. Apratim would take them up at the end of her discussion. Thank you, and over to you, Doctor.
Yes. Thank you, Shriyal, and congratulations on your anniversary month. And you guys are really, really doing a good job. Welcome, everyone. So let's just dive into the topic straight away, which is botulinum toxin. And I'm seeing the name of all those who have already joined us. And I can see that lots of friends here. So hello, everyone. And let's have a good discussion. I'm going to run by. Shriyal, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, lovely. So sometimes when you're talking to yourself, you kind of feel that is everything okay. But I think Shreya, I've kind of messed up with the background, but I wouldn't bother much. Right. So let's straight away, just to get your attention more and for all of us to be together here, I have put in some poll questions as well. So be ready and let's start with the presentation. I can't see really. Shriyal, just let me know if you can see the screen.
The presentation hasn't opened for us.
Oh, it has. Okay. Can you see now?
No, what I would suggest is stop sharing, open the
Okay.
presentation, and then click on share screen again.
All right. Oops. Okay. Can you see this now, Shreya?
Yes, we can. You could just put it on a slideshow option
Right.
and you could get started.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yes, start.
just get myself out. Yeah. So how can we use botulinum toxin to be our best selling service? So let's start this. I would probably go a bit fast because, you know, in the end, I'm going to give away my entire presentation. I'll give it to the AM team, and whoever wants this presentation, please feel free. Just remove my patient's pictures, which I have put, and I have no problem in sharing. So, you know, let's just kind of take in maximum information. Now coming, I have no conflict of interest for this presentation. It is not funded by any of the companies or any product, though I may interchangeably use the word Botox here when I'm trying to talk about botulinum toxin, because that usually comes as a habit. For example, the example of Xerox versus photocopy. So we already know, even by our latest statistics, that botulinum toxin, of course, these are US figures because we have very less reporting in India, but we know that botulinum toxin is still the highest selling service when it comes to aesthetic services. So, you know, whether we call it neuromodulator, you could, when you see conferences and seminars, you would see botulinum being or referred to as BTX, BTXA, Dysport, Botox, Xeomin, or Neuronox. These are the molecules. Now, what is basically either a Botox or a Xeomin or a Dysport? We'll see in this presentation that, you know, how do you choose a product? Then who should be your first botulinum toxin patient? That also we'll discuss. There are a lot of Korean and Chinese toxins available in the market. So we'll see whether they are ineffective, whether they are unsafe, should you use it or not. The dilution, the storage, and most importantly, the injection technique. And the applied surface anatomy, of course, whatever we can cover in short time, basic indications to start with, what can go wrong. So I have a question in the beginning itself, which is a poll question, that are you using any botulinum toxin presently in your practice? Shreyal, if you can put the poll question right now. Just let us know whether you are using, you're planning to use soon, or you don't want to use at all. So I can see that it's kind of fluctuating. It's good to know that nobody is one who don't want to use, because I would have said otherwise this presentation is not for those people. But here I'm seeing that, you know, 65% people are already using it in your practice, and but there are still 36% who 35 to 36 who are planning to use it soon. I think, Shreyal, we can end the poll now. So there is nobody who doesn't want to. I'll just share the results as well if you want. You know, so this is it. All right, Shreyal, we can end this. So the thing is that a lot of you are already using botulinum toxin, and there must be some reason that you got onto this webinar to listen, and a lot of you who are planning to use. So I guess this presentation will be more useful to those who are in the B category who are planning to use it soon. Um, Shreyal, I see. Now, what is botulinum toxin? It is a natural purified protein. Okay, and in simple, it relaxes, you know, the muscles. It prevents it from going into fold, and hence it prevents wrinkling. To simply put it, right? Of course, there are a lot of slides explaining the pathomechanism and how the molecule works, what's the molecular size. But, you know, let's keep it more interactive and simple. Create a rejuvenated, youthful look. Now, there are two kind of wrinkles. There are dynamic lines and there are static lines, right? This is something you have to know, because you need to exactly botulinum will do and what is that botulinum will not do, which is again a very, very important part of learning this practice, is that you should also know that what it will not do. Otherwise, you know, you may give botulinum to somebody, the patient will go back, come back very unhappy. They keep saying this didn't go, this didn't go, and you know, to start with, this was not supposed to go because they are static lines. So dynamic lines, simple, you ask the patient to do an action, you know, like you can see mine. I'm I think my Botox is wearing off, so I'm getting some lines here. Now, these are dynamic lines which are not there when you don't do a thing. Only when you try to do an action, it comes. That's dynamic lines, and that is what is treated with botulinum. The static lines, like the ones in the under eye, or these laugh lines, or the lines around the chin, or very deep, or the fine lines on the forehead, they are not the ones which are going to be improved with botulinum or Botox or Xeomin or Dysport. So that's something you have to tell the patient when you're examining them. So Neuronox, Xeomin, Botox, Dysport, these are the various molecules available in India. Now, in my slides, I put basically the difference, which you can get a copy from AM. Botox is basically a molecule. These are all FDA approved, but Botox is a molecule which is 900 kilodalton, means it is a heavy molecule where there is a small molecule inside and there is a surrounding protein, right? Whereas Dysport, the protein is smaller, whereas Xeomin is like a naked molecule which has no protein around it. Neuronox also has a protein around it. So this is in short the difference. Coming to the efficacy, I think they all are good and efficacious. Little bit there is difference that Dysport starts working faster. The effect of Xeomin, I have seen in some patients Xeomin lasts longer, some people Botox lasts longer. But then I have used all the 4 molecules in my practice and I have absolutely no problem in any. But of course, during the time, you have your favorites which you pick up. Now, so this is how botulinum works. This is, I'm going to give to you the slide. It basically, it is not like it stops producing the acetylcholine. It just doesn't let the acetylcholine work. So the muscle doesn't contract, because essentially the muscle is supposed to contract to bring about an action, right? So that is how it works. It works at the neuromuscular junction. Now, our topic today was that how can you make it as the best-selling service in your practice? So for that, let me take you to the other parts of this practice management, which is who needs toxin. Now, everybody walking into your clinic needs toxin, right? If you right now, because you're in lockdown, if you right now look around you, your family members, your spouse, your parents, and mentally, if you can think some of your favorite patients, they all need botulinum, they all need Botox, or they all need Xeomin. Now, do you believe what I say? Of course, you will believe once you start looking. Eye sees what mind knows. Should you inject every client? Well, see, look, you want to inject every client. I want to inject every client, but probably every client doesn't want to get injected. So this is just a wish list that everybody walking into your clinic could get injected. But the point is that, yes, you have to identify, because a lot of them don't even know that you do this. Like I was saying, 36% polling is that who wish to start it. That means you have patients. You may have lasers for hair removal, for pigmentation in a practice, and maybe you want to start it, but wherever the hiccup is, let's try and clear that today. Yes, when our patients come, do they ask for this injection? 10 years back, the time was that nobody would come and ask that, hey, I need a Botox. Nobody would say that. It was always that, we would put in their mind, or I would have done it because I'm doing it like almost 18 years now. So, when I would do it and they would say, oh, your skin is looking nice. So then I would tell them that, look, I do Botox. So, it was earlier. But now when they come, even when we mention, do you know what's Botox? So they're like, yeah, of course we know, my friend does it, or I have seen on Instagram this, that. So they kind of mention. Now, why I'm putting up this point is that all your staff, your therapist, your doctors, your receptionist, your manager, even girls who are kind of helping around, your helpers, everybody should know about your services, including botulinum, because they may not mention that, oh, I want to try a Botox, or I want to try a Xeomin. They may not do it in front of you, because in front of a doctor they would stay a couple of minutes, but when they do a laser hair removal with a therapist in the room, they may just say, hey, you know what, I just want to know, what's Botox, so can I do it? So it's very important that you align all your staff and train them. Now let's see some important surface anatomy for muscles. Of course, this is a big topic. I'm going to cover it small, but as I said, you have all the slides with you, so you can always refer. Now we divide face into upper, middle, and lower. Of course, it's not like, I say I inject just the middle phase or the upper phase. But for the purpose of botulinum toxin injection, yes, we have like basic indications where we usually inject this part, the glabella. This is called glabellar complex. And, other common injection now is this, which is the masseter injection, which forms in the lower third. In the middle third, we only have the crow's feet. So let's go. Now, when you talk about, when you are, let's say, counseling somebody or a patient, you have to talk about other factors of aging, because they should not get an impression that one injection of botulinum can take care of all the problems. Now, somebody could be having an eye bag, somebody could be having wrinkles below the line. Botulinum is not going to do anything to that. Somebody would be probably bothered about the fine lines, which they see in a magnified mirror. And there also Botox is not going to help. So you need to show them that, look, hey, this line, it can help, but these lines, I probably want to do a volume filler, or there are these newer bolide fillers which we do a lot for fine lines. It works well. Or you can do a laser, you can do a radio frequency, you can do a mesotherapy, a PRP. So what I'm trying to say is that the treatment also, as a physician, it's your responsibility that you tell the patient that what is it going to do and what is it not going to do. And that's why when you have somebody over 40 years plus, they will definitely have aging changes, and it is important that you bring about to them. If we see the anatomy of the upper face, I just put up the diagram. Yes. Now, if you see here, the eyebrows are elevated by the frontalis muscle. This one, the whole broad sheet of muscle, frontalis. Here you are seeing that, it is not attached in the center, but sometimes it can be attached as well. So that is where surface and marking is very important. And, that's when you understand whether you should inject in this area or not. But by and large, it is a broad sheet of muscle, which is frontalis, which is the elevator of the brows, which is very important because with gravity, brows go down. But then what are the muscles which are working against frontalis? Lots of them. We have procerus. You can see this right in the center. It can be a single thin long muscle. It can be a little broad and divided muscle. That is what something, the more and more you see faces and ask them to do an expression, you will be able to learn. Or you can just stand in the mirror and see, please yourself. Then next to that, there is a sphinx shaped muscle, wing shaped muscle called corrugator. Now, corrugator is one muscle I have seen which can be very tiny to very broad, which can extend beyond the midline of the brow as well. So you have to again check it out. Everybody's corrugator is not the same. Depressor supercilii is a small muscle which is kind of under the corrugator, and orbicularis oculi, which is this large, huge, round sphincter-like muscle which is around the eyes. So all these muscles actually pull the brow downwards and medially. And the only muscle which is pulling the brows up are the frontalis. So since we weaken the muscles in botulinum injections, we remember that we do not over-inject muscle. We do not over-inject the frontalis, because that is our only muscle which is kind of working against gravity, right? And that is giving you more fresh, youthful, opened up eyes, lifted brows. So we do not want to knock off this important muscle. Now, as you can see here, in the first diagram, there is a very short corrugator. This is the kind of corrugator which I also have. I have a very short corrugator which ends here. So naturally, in this patient, when you're going to inject here where the cursor is, Shriyal, can you see my cursor? My
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So, this is where I've kept the cursor. So there is no point that I go here, because what am I injecting? I'm definitely not injecting corrugator. I'm injecting into some other muscle which I don't want to inject. So that's the reason you need to know how far the corrugator is stretching. Whereas, as I said, I have seen patients whose corrugator goes right up till here. And for those of you who inject, we know that this is kind of a no-go zone for us, but we go there. We go there depending on the level of injection, provided that your corrugator is stretched there. Whereas coming to procerus again, procerus can be short, long, divided in single. So again, if you just ask the patient to do the frown and touch the muscle belly, you can feel that whether it is a procerus dominant or a corrugator dominant. So these are the two muscles. When we are injecting the glabular complex, you have to be very careful and know well. Now, if you see this example here, this is a case of short corrugator. You can see that it is ending right here. You can see a dimple here where my cursor is. That means the corrugator is ending here. And that's how my corrugator is also. So I normally don't do beyond this area. Whereas if you see here, you can see till here the pull is where my cursor is. So this person has a broad, flat, we call it a flat or a square corrugator. So again, in this case, I would extend right up till out. Okay, my injections. Next comes the procerus. Now, when you have this, in some males especially, you will see who have hooded eyes, they have this horizontal line on the nose. Now, this usually is not because of corrugator, it's usually because of procerus muscle being very predominant. Like here, these are the corrugators on the side, but this is the procerus. And the majority of the problem here is because of procerus, not really corrugator. So if I'm given a choice and I have to only inject one muscle, let's say this patient would only pay for 10 units or 12 units, doesn't want, and he says that this is my problem, then I would rather inject only the procerus in this case. And then some other times, like if you see this case, I don't know what you are seeing at your end, but, let me just explain. Now, in both these cases, there is a glabellar complex, right? Both the ladies here, they want this to be treated because they don't like the frown lines. But as a practitioner, how is it different cases for me? Because if I see the first case here, you can see that there is a very strongly active corrugator which is pulling both the this side corrugator and this side corrugator, it's pulling inside, so it is creating these V lines, right? So I would concentrate more on knocking off the corrugators here. Whereas if you see this side, there is a hyperactive procerus because this is not so deep. Whereas these horizontal lines are very prominent. That means more than the corrugators, the procerus is active here, right? So what I will probably give 24 or 20 units in both the patients, but I would concentrate more on the corrugator in the first case, and I would concentrate more on the procerus in the second case. And that is where your expertise comes, because every case cannot be just like a blanket injected, same unit, same point, same way. Now again, coming to what we mentioned in the beginning, the frontalis. If you see this case and this case, there is a difference. And what is the difference? Here, there is no muscle in the center, and that's why you are getting a dip in the horizontal frown line. Whereas in this case, it is horizontal, straight line. That means there is a muscle throughout. Now, why is it important to us? Because we want to only inject in the muscle, right? All throughout, all these while, we've been 15 minutes in this webinar, we are only talking about muscles. So here, we do not want to give a midline injection. For one thing, the toxin could seep down and have some complications. Secondly, you're wasting the product. So here, we will not be injecting here, we will inject all over. And still you have, like you see this case, again, to complicate it, apart from corrugate in the corrugator being active or procerus being active, on top of that, it can be that the one side corrugator is more active than the other side, and that is what is a asymmetrical phase, like as you see in this case. So here, if you see what is happening, where my cursor is, this side corrugator is more strong, it is pulling the whole brow to one side, right? So you have to distribute your dosage accordingly. Again here, asymmetrically active frontalis in this men. So I would only inject where the lines are. Then coming to the orbicularis oculi muscle, which is again the third muscle, very important, responsible for the crow's feet here. Here the only precaution is that, see, this is how you will see it, the lines. Be careful, tell the patient that only this will be held by botulinum, not these lines, okay? Now again, the photo aging, I'll skip that. Now coming to the middle phase, one very important muscle is this zygomaticus major. Why? Because this muscle is actually very close to the orbicularis lateral border. Now, when you are injecting here for the crow's feet, if you go a little lateral, the chances are you may hit off the zygomaticus major, which is the one of the major muscles of smile and expression of the middle face. And once you knock this off, that's where it will create a havoc on the patient. So it's very important that when you're injecting for crows, you do not go to lateral. Another one is the levator labii superioris alaquinesi, the longest name for a muscle and it's the shortest muscle. So in simple, this is which lifts the lip up. So when we are injecting into the nasalis or into the procerus, do not go to lateral, because if you hit this muscle, then again the smile can be imbalanced. Now lower third of the face, again there are few muscles which I will show. Most important muscle, one is orbicularis oris. In India, I do very less of botulinum for this muscle, orbicularis oris. We have whatever foreigner patients, we use a lot of toxin with fillers in the lip area, not just isolated toxin. DAO is a small, tiny muscle, which goes from the modulus or angle of the mouth down to the masseter, to the rim, mandibular. And it's a very, actually, in diagrams we see it like this, but it is actually like a very thin sheet of paper. So here it's a DAO muscle, which is thinning towards the top. And we also have the platysma getting inserted on the mandibular border and the mentalis, which we will see in the injections. One little word somebody put in a question, I think, that the platysma. Now in platysma, it's important because platysma lately, because of social media, because of a lot of awareness has become important. A lot of people are understanding that neck is as important as face when it comes to aging. But if you see platysma, again, we have to ask the patient to do an action and see whether, till where is platysma extending, because, you don't want to go and inject in the structures behind. You want to stick, and, this is one injection which is done in animation or in action, right? Now, so I have a question now before we leave the anatomy and move to the practical is, so please, I urge again all of you to please, participate in the poll. Orbicularis oculi is the only brow elevator. Is it true or false? Shriyal, can you please put a poll question? Shreya? Hi. Orbicularis oculi is the only brow elevator. We just, discussed that. Except two people, I think everybody is attentive. Thank you so much. Shreya, you can close. Yes, it is not the elevator. In fact, frontalis is the muscle which is the only elevator of the brow, and that is the reason we do not do high doses on the forehead or the frontalis muscle. Now, next is, how do you consult a prospective client of botulinum? Okay. Now, explain, as I said earlier, you have to explain that their problem is not just muscle related or which can be solved by botulinum. There are a lot of factors. Okay. Then don't be afraid to inject on somebody who is young. I have done it on 12 years old also, 14 years old also, but just, for sake of, you can keep a limit to 14, 15, doesn't matter. Of course, we can inject kids as well. And then don't be hurry for those 36% who said in the beginning that they are planning to inject. Don't be in a hurry when patient comes to you and you talk to them, give them details, follow up till they convert. Main thing is that, if it is the first time you're doing it, kindly get a vial of 50 units from any of these three companies, the products which are available, and do it on your family member. Do it on, it's not because you'll do it wrong, it's just because that is your confidence building case, and you definitely do not want somebody who is paid for the service. So I would suggest that do it on your mother or father or somebody around you. And yes, the best motivation and turning point usually is tell them that you do it too and you love it, and of course I like it too. So I tell my patients always that Shriyal, can you play the YouTube link please? I tell my patients all the time that, I have done Botox and, I've been doing it for 18 years. And that is something which again is very convincing. Nothing better than you being the role model. And especially, can I? One second, I'll just share my experience. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah,
okay.
Thanks. So I think it's very important that we all, tell our clients, very important that, you have been doing it. And, as you can see that this was me, I did a Xeomin injection for my face. And as I said, I use all the molecules. So we had a lot of, this is how it is diluted. You have 100 units vial, you add 2.5 cc of saline to it. And then just do the surface anatomy. So as I said, I have a very strong corrugator process, very strong glabular complex. So this is my dermatologist, Dr. Zeba, injecting on me, which is the advantage now that I have doctors. But prior to that, I actually put a mirror in front of me and inject. So it is that simple. And when you're doing it, why not make a video, put it up. You can go live, let your patients know that you do it. I think there on the left crores, I kind of got a bruise, looks like, but that's fine. It's a very, very simple. We do it for crow's feet. I normally go very less with units on my forehead because I do not want my frontalis or the brow elevator. But here we are injecting 6 units. As you can see, the black markings on the forehead. And yes, I think I'm going to close it. So what I meant to say here was that you should tell your patients that, you are doing it. And I think that is the most important turning point. So Shriyal, can you see my screen?
We are on the how to consult a prospective client slide.
Yeah, but it's not moving forward. I don't know. Yeah. Now, when to inject toxin, very few people will ask for it. You should inject them there and then because probably those are the ones who have already got it done earlier and they know about the procedure. That's why they've come and asked for it. Now, most of them will know about it, but they feel either it is not for them or there is no need. They don't feel a need or they have a phobia. Now, these are the three whom you want to convert. So those who say that no, I'm too young, I don't need a Botox right now. You pick up a mirror and show them that these are the lines, we have, and you can do for them before they get worse, right? Who say that I don't need it? Create a need by making them aware. So someday, when somebody around them is commenting that, oh, I think your face looks angry or your lines show, that's a day they want to think about you. And phobia, yes. Now this is the most common that a lot of them have fear that it's a poison, it causes paralysis, snake poison, and we know all the myths attached. So it's a very common myth. You need to reinforce. What I do is I have some printed published papers, white papers. I also give them a copy. I send it across on WhatsApp and I tell them that please read about it and then make an informed decision. Coming to, in fact, a lot of them say that, will I get addicted for rest of my life? So there is an addiction phobia as well. And I tell them there are a lot of things you're addicted to. And it's not like, brides do it. They do it for an hour. They do it for like a year, maybe once or twice. And then they get busy, they leave it. And then they start doing it 10 years later. So there is absolutely, it's not a nicotine that you will do it. You probably will like to do it. Then the cost phobia, please explain to them that it is only 5 to 6,000 the cost of removing this glabella complex is, because people think it will run in lakhs. I've never injected botulinum in lakhs, honestly. Then there is a pain phobia, and that also you can use like a vibrating device. There are lots available in the market which you can use, but there is a very nice vibrating device. It's called probably put it in my presentation and I forgot the name. It is called vibration anesthesia device. Yeah, VAD. It's available online. It has a light and it vibrates here. So whenever you are injecting, you can either use ice or topical anesthetic, but of course we like to use that device because there is no waiting time. And how early, as I said, anybody can be injected. Now for the procedure, I think I would like to probably, because I don't want to run short of time. So I will show a video to show you the procedure. And this was a video which I pulled out, which is an old video. So yeah, for one thing, Botox has to be kept in cold. Okay, this is how it comes. This is me, 2008, I think. Yeah, so it's 12 years old. Right, so you need saline, you need botulinum, and or whichever, and then you need these. When you buy the syringes, they should be the red syringes, not the orange ones. Remember, the BD40. And then this is how you get a vial, right? This is 100 units. You get in 50 also, but see, the expiry I can see is April 2009. So yeah, right, this was 2008. So you get this. There is just a little powder at the base. I normally give this leaflet to the patient, but most of them are not interested. Then you open it, right? There is powder. You take 2.5 cc of normal saline. Just put it inside. Don't worry, I'll wear gloves when I'm doing the injections. Now, so that's it. It'll suck inside, and I would leave this needle for like few seconds because the air can suck out. and just rotate it gently on your palm. With the heat of the palm, most of it will get dissolved. It immediately does get dissolved. I kind of remove this sticker for my use because I don't like it coming in my way, but that's your choice. Now, this is the patient whom we would inject. See, these are the crow's feet. I'm asking her to do the action. Then these are lines. Also, she has a mirror in her hand, so she knows what we are treating. Right? So this is the glabellar complex because of the corrugator and the procerus. It's important that the patient sees when you are treating that what is the treatment going to give them. Right? So this is the whole thing is the glabellar complex, which I'm marking till you see the pull, right? Till there the corrugator is extending. So these are the points of injection. Sorry about my finger. You know, that time I think we weren't very recording friendly. I now see. I think somebody raised a hand. Is there a question by Ashutosh Soni Shriyal? Okay, so these are the points. Now she also has a nasal scrunch, which we have marked the points here. And you know, you have to feel the rim, the bony rim, stay 1 centimeter out. My first complication which I ever got was diplopia. So probably injected a little medial here and hit the lateral rectus. I also give a unit here when somebody has a lot of fine lines near the punctum, very superficially for these lines. You see this when she's smiling? Okay, now mark the other side. I have given away the dosage slide in my presentation for all of you. So, you know, but it's very important that when you're planning a botulinum, you know, we get carried away, we see lines and we want to freeze all those lines. But it's very important that the patient knows the cost. Okay, and that transparency has to be there before the patient is sitting. So what we do is after marking, the previous step we've done visually, we make the patient sign consent form. Then there is a treatment report where, you know, this will be very important for you when you are next time doing the same. Let's say the patient says, yeah, doc, my brows look very nice. And can you do the same again? So you should know what you did 6 months, 5 months back. So here I'm planning to do 16 units here, to 24 units here, 12 units each, and you know, probably 6 or 8 units on the nasal scrunch. So total is 74 units. In a box, you get 100 units. That means you will be left with 26 units, sorry, that's me, old one. So now you draw, because, you know, this is 100 units in the bottle and this is 40 units. So every unit is, whatever marking is equal to unit. So I have what I do is we already fill it in the syringe, because later on you're talking to the patient and you don't want to miscalculate. So what I do, I have 1 syringe for glabellar complex, 1 syringe for crow's feet, and 1 syringe for the forehead lines. You can either clean with betadine, which I like to do because it gives more thorough cleansing. And I think in COVID times now we are advocating that again. Yes, Shreya. Hello.
Yes, you want the next poll?
No, not yet. I'll just finish the injection.
Yeah, okay.
I think my PPT, huh? Yeah. So what we do is, whichever we don't want the toxin to go into the wrong muscle. So I have put my thumb here, because I don't want the infraorbital superiorbital foramen to come to the palpebral muscles. And so this is the body of corrugator. And this is the tail of corrugator, where it's, sorry about my hand blocking it. It's a superficial injection here. The first one is deep injection. And I don't know what I'm saying, but I have to forward it. So this is my patient now. This is after a week. You can see that her face looks so much smoother. And because I have this patient consent of sharing this. So as you can see that, you know, the only thing now left is her under eye bags. And this cannot be treated with botulinum. In fact, it may worsen, because, you know, you can see there are no lines. She's trying to frown. She's trying to raise her brows. You know, this patient loved this. This is the look which she wanted. For the under eye bag, it's a completely different thing. You cannot take care of everything with one. But, you know, it's a simple injection. You could see that it was done in minutes. And just these irritating lines now are there, for which we have to do radio frequency or some other treatment. So coming back to our presentation, can you hear me, Shreya?
Yes, audible.
Okay. So the pre-preparation, I think you all saw. Let's whether it'll hurt. As I said, hurt is minimal. People who are so determined to get botulinum are usually not bothered about this little ant bite. But yes, there are some first timers who are, so we have a stress ball, and we can, as I said, put. Now we use that anesthesia device on the face, so our patients are super comfortable with that, and no waiting time, half an hour for putting topical anesthetic. So we've done this. Okay, now this is the dosage unit. Of course, our the dosage can be individual, because males usually require a little higher dosage as compared to females. There are some patients who like to do little every 2 months. But I like to do a full dose once, so that for 5 months almost there is they don't have to come back. But that depends. So, but this is an average chart to give you some idea about the dosage. The commonest indications are, dynamic lines on the upper face, um, uh, hypertrophic masseter or square face. A lot of them say that, my face is not selfie friendly. So that's something which I hear, that, I'm okay if a picture is taken otherwise, but I'm not a selfie friendly. And that more is to do with the broadness of the jaw. So when we do for masseter, actually kind of narrows down the face, and on top of that, when we relax the chin with toxin and then put a little filler, it kind of gives you a more elongated face. Then the vertical neck bands, these, and hyperhidrosis axilla palm are also the indication. Palm, I'm not very happy with the results which I've achieved. So now I have moved to doing radio frequency for sweaty palms, or I combine that with botulinum. But axilla, it's super good. And mesobotox for fine lines, just to tell you here, the whatever the normal dilution, we dilute it 9 times more, and we kind of give little tiny dots. We, on an average, it's around 45 to 50 injections all over the face. The total number of units used are just 8 to 10 units. But something which I have to share is that I'm not a big fan of mesobotox. I'm rather a big fan of mesohyaluronic acid. The recent injections which are launched now, the Volite, and otherwise also we have mesohyaluronic acid, because I feel that at least, even for the all the injection points which the patient bears, that gives a lot of shine and hydration and luminescence to the skin. All that is not done by mesobotox. So personally, I'm not a big believer of mesobotox. Now, what are the precautions to be taken just after the procedure? Actually, there is hardly any precaution. But I remember once a patient of mine, I think it rather happened with, yeah, it happened with filler. She said, like, when I did at that clinic, it's a chain of clinic. She's like, they gave me a page of instructions, doc, and you didn't give me anything. So yes, patients need to be given some instructions. So, you can probably put it in a paper and do. Even this thing about not lying down is internationally, there are papers that it doesn't matter. But yes, because patients will hear from others, so tell them that they should not lie flat for 1 or 2 hours, not bend forward or too much back. Sometimes they come with rather a strained shoulder, trying to be straight, and do not massage that area. The effect comes up in few days, and maximum results is in 7 to 10 days. So if you want to do a touch-up, you should do it after 2 weeks, not before that, how much ever the patient insists. The effect lasts for around 4 months in my experience, but yes, there are patients where the results even goes up to 8 months. So, when now I inject, I tell patient minimum 4 months. Sometimes it's even lesser. People who are regular gymmers, or, who are into a lot of expression, heavy weight, it sometimes goes away in 3 months also. Then Botox is one of the most long-lasting non-surgical treatment available. Yes. So, a lot of patients will be like, I want everything permanent. एक बार करने का है, पूरा lifelong result रहना चाहिए. Now, these are very difficult patients. It's not only in this, whether you're treating their pigmentation, acne, for everything, they need permanent result. I think I like to counsel them first that nothing is permanent. Don't be ashamed of telling that in skin you cannot have, even if you do a facelift or a surgery, even that is not permanent. So yes, botulinum is not permanent. It's just twice a year. It's just 3 to 4 minutes. And those who want to do, they will do it. And you tell them that you have been doing it forever and ever. So what if my lines worsen after I stop? First of all, why would you stop? And even if you stop, it's not going to worsen. You are, in fact, we see that a lot of time it prevents the dynamic lines from changing to static. So even if one stops doing it, it has a long-term benefit and it definitely doesn't get worse. But for that, it's very important that you actually take a pre-picture and keep of the patient. And that's important for all the procedures. What are the side effects? No long-term side effects reported. I don't know, headache, diplopia was my first complication, but I normally see just problem with headache or stiffness. And I ask them to take like an NSAID for that. And that is also usually when patients are doing it for the first time. That's it. Otherwise, you just get used to it. What is the cost? The cost varies patient to patient and depends on the area of treatment, how many units you are using. You can, for those of you who are planning to start now, would you like to charge? I don't know how my colleagues are doing. Some people just treat like forehead is so much, crow's is so much. I like to charge them by unit. So if my price, let's say, is for 200 or 150 rupees a unit, I would charge 300 rupees a unit, something like that. So you can, let's say I'm using 48 units, 48 multiplied by so and so is what you can charge. And yes, sometimes you'll have this thing about patient saying that no, I just want 20 units all over my face. So I tell them, look, 20 units, what we will do is I'll only put in glabella. You see the improvement, and then you can get other areas injected. So don't let the patient dictate you and change their money. If they don't have money, that's fine. Tell them that give it as a birthday gift to yourself whenever it is. So don't get into the temptation of doing lesser unit, because the same patient will come back to you after a month with no result, will tell 10 people that, oh, you know what, she said 5 months, but it didn't last 1 month also. And they forget that, the other ones who did 4 units instead of 24 units. So that's again important. Okay, now let's see some cases. This is glabellar lines, and where we injected these 3 points, you can see it clearing. I'm going to little rush because I think I'm running short of time. This again, the patient said that, I look very stressed. So as such, he didn't have a lot of lines, but we, just to give him a relaxed look, we injected 20 units, 5, 5, 5, 5 each point, 2 points for Procerus and 2 points for corrugator. And here this patient, you can see that, we injected his forehead because that was what was bothering him. He was a client of mine from Ireland. And, he, surprisingly, you see, though I told him very clearly, your fine lines won't improve, but there is improvement in the fine lines as well. But basically what we injected him for was, he was a dentist himself, injected him for the horizontal frown lines. This is where I'm injecting the frontalis, and you see, good results. Now, this is one of the complications which happens. This is Spock brows or Mr. Spock brows. And what we do normally, if you just in line of this, the tip of the frown, the lift, if you go here and put 1 or 2 units, it softens it, right? Some people like it, females usually like it, and they ask to do it. This again, this is just 12 units at 3 points injected here. These are the injection points. Forehead, this is again a case where we injected just to give a more relaxed look. Forehead and crow's was injected. She didn't have a lot of glabella, so we didn't inject that. This is again strong crow's feet, where instead of 3, we took 4 points. Remember, when you inject here, it's going to work in this much area. Okay. Imagine that there are 4 25 paise or 50 paise coins kept here. Second one is here, so it only work in this area. That's why in this case, since he had very strong crows, I had to do 4 injections instead of 3. Now this is again nasal scrunch, so beautifully, kind of gone. We say nakchadi in Hindi. That is what exactly it is. When you have a nasal scrunch, or they also call bunny lines. So, you can see that it's eased out here. So here we had to treat 16 units. There is a combination of nasalis muscle here, which is this thin, like a tape muscle, and there is this Procerus. So we've injected both. I think this all I'll give you rather. This is asymmetrical. Now, this is a case which I thought when I'm reaching the end of my presentation. Glabella 26 units, okay, and bunny lines 8 units. And also, as I said, most of my perioral injections are foreigners. So 6 units here. Okay, and so here she's doing a different expression where you can, I'm just trying to show the indications that, you know, based on this picture, I would inject glabella, bunny lines, and the perioral lines. Now the same patient, when she is doing, you of course see a little asymmetry here, but I would inject on the frontalis 10 to 12 or 12 would be probably units. And please make sure to notice and tell the patient that there is a brow asymmetry. Of course, you'll correct it, but then there is an asymmetry. Then comes the crow's feet, and this is what I would do. It's a strong crow's feet. It's extending right till down. I would inject 15 to 16 units on each side. So that's a calculation of 2 sides. So now there's another case, Indian, typical what we see in our practice. You know, she has, she has very strong corrugator, not so strong Procerus. So I would inject 22 to 24 units. Uh, Forehead, I would probably just inject 6 to 8 units. And what would I inject in the crow's here? I won't inject crow's because she has no lines there. So that again is something that when you have a face which has either a lot of fat or when they express the lines are not throwing up, please do not inject. This patient would be more happy doing a mesofiller with you or doing the radio frequency. You earn more money there rather than you do a botulinum for her, and then she's not happy. So this is my unit distribution here for glabella. This I would do for forehead, and I won't treat the crow's. Now this patient, unfortunately, she is no more now. I mean, she died of some other cause. So this, she had a very strong, and I remember a very chirpy, very happy, very kind of a jovial patient, but she used to always say that, I don't know, people say I look khadus. So we injected here and you can see it gives her a relaxed look. Another one where we only injected the forehead here. Now, what are the limitations of botulinum toxin? This. Now, what has happened here? That we've injected for the glabella. Part of her skin has, of course, got relaxed, but you can see that this static line. See, this is the example of dynamic line, and this is an example of static line. And as I said at the beginning, it will take care of the dynamic line, but it will not take care of the static line. Now, what we can do for static line, of course, a lot of other treatment, but definitely not botulinum toxin. So, Shriyal, can you put up the next poll question, which is that how many of you are planning to get botulinum done for yourself? So let us know that, oh my God, 100%. No, it's changing. Either you've already done also, then also you please click yes. Or if you're planning to get it done, also click yes. Interesting. Yes, Shriyal, we can probably end the poll. So I saw that around 85% patients they have either already got it done or they will get it done. But the rest 15% have not got it done. So just to tell you all that, I started injecting on myself when I was 30 years. And a lot of them, even my in fact my dermat with me, if I tell her that when are you getting it done, I'm not now. So please don't get in your mind that this is something which you only do when you are older. That is a completely myth. In fact, in last 5 years, I've seen the spectrum of botulinum toxin, of Botox, of Xeomin moving actually to more younger patients. So, we have a lot of brides. In fact, even for bridal treatments, botulinum has become a very, very important, part of the treatment. A lot of them do masseter treatments. Today, I've not included masseter here because I thought I'll run out of time. And I thought I'll only concentrate on basic. But botulinum toxin for masseter injection, it is beautiful treatment. You can inject up to 50 to 60 units. I have put the doses in my presentation, and share my presentation. Whenever I go out or into the poll, it gets stuck. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. So what can go wrong? As I said, nothing much goes wrong. Honestly, this is one treatment which surprises me that it never goes wrong. There can be bruising, asymmetry, headache, stiffness. Don't let the side effects, for those of you who have not done it, stop you, because this is only treatment where there are literally no side effects, if of course you know it well. Okay. Now, yeah, in this, one thing I would like to say is inability to chew. When I did my masseter, uh, there was time when I was feeling that my food or my jaw is, it's like slipping out. It'll just come out. And then the same thing, one of my patients who is an orthopedic surgeon kept telling me. So I asked him to do an ultrasound, and he did tell me that there was some dislocation here. But my patients surprise me. All those who do masseter, they are super happy because it kind of thins down the face. So side effects are not there much. Okay, so last two slides, Shriyal. How does toxin add value to your practice? It is a very essential cosmetic tool. I could talk about toxin for hours, but I'm cutting short. There is no substitute. See, those who said that, a lot of my patients say, doc, there is a Botox in a bottle or thing. That's all bullshit. There is no Botox which comes in a bottle. And the day a Botox comes in a bottle, it would be disastrous. Then they would be causing paralysis wherever they touch the cream. So that's completely, and it becomes your responsibility to clear that myth for your patient that it cannot be, right? You talk it in the media, do whatever, but let people know that they cannot be a Botox in a bottle. Come on. So there's no substitute. There are no creams, and it's good that way. Patient just can't go and buy a Botox and put it on the face and not come to you. Let them go out, come to you, make an appointment. Post, of course, when the things get normal. So no creams, no lasers, no peels, no surgery. Sometimes, when we say that the result will last for 5 months, a lot of patients say that, yeah, but I might as well get a cosmetic surgery done, that will last me 10 years. That's not correct. What Botox will do, the surgery will not do, right? It's easy money. There's no investment. Now today, what is killing me in this lockdown is my investment, because I have 3 clinics. I have tons of machines and so much of investment in lasers. But what's not bothering me is that Botox, which is lying in my fridge. In one clinic, I think it's a lot of Xeomin. So it doesn't bother me. Whenever I open the clinic, I would use it. It's not kind of producing any problem for me or costing me anything. What you need is good injection skills, and that is something you can only learn with a proper, of course, observation, learning, guidance. But most of all, you have to do it. That your injection skills. It gives 100% predictable results. It never fails you. Whether the patient is dark or fair, I would think so many times before doing a peel, before doing a radio frequency, before doing CO2 laser, or before doing a Q-switch NDX. But here, it is no problem at all. Once a patient is a candidate for botulinum, then no issue. It doesn't depend on your complexion. Lot of awareness around is already there, so it's a right time for you all to jump and start this practice. Talk on social media about it, write articles, interviews. You can always, when patients of toxin are so happy, that it is so easy for me to sell them some other service as compared to the other way. Like, let's say somebody did an acne, and acne come back and there's like, yeah, pehle acne jane do, uske baad main Botox karungi. राइट अब एक्ने कब जाएगा मुझे भी नहीं पता, बिकॉज एक्ने इज बिकॉज ऑफ लॉट ऑफ इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम्स. अभी आई हैव टू वेट कि उनका एक्ने जाएगा तो देन शी विल डू बोटॉक्स. बट इफ इट इज द अदर वे, व्हेन दे कम बैक आफ्टर अ वीक, 10 days, 15 days, they are happy, and that is the time you can always cross sell your some other service. So isn't that really nice? Combination treatment with lasers and fillers, it's a magical lift, especially in the social media times which we are now. And you can definitely elevate your practice to another level as compared to others who are not doing it yet. As a doctor, you have a best knowledge of the face, so inject on the go. Of course, in Mumbai, people do Botox parties as well. And then how to then start smart selling your product. First of all, let your clinic talk about it. Let only not you talk about it, let your clinic talk about it. Let everybody who is walking into the clinic see a notice board. I remember years back, one patient told me that, oh, you also do fillers. I didn't know that. So I went and got my filler there, and a very happy patient of mine wouldn't leave me and go to anybody. But probably I failed in giving her a simple message that, look, I do fillers and Botox as well. So yes, in-house marketing, visual display, you can run a video, reading material, run offers. Out, you can have ads, PR, website. I think it's a full topic. Instagram influencers is the new thing and works fantastic, and we are doing it as well. And I would suggest that you can do as well. Instagram influencers, so many are there. You follow them, see whether they have genuinely, followers genuine, or they have bought it, because otherwise it's not going to be effective. And you can do a complimentary treatment in next. They kind of do a video for you. YouTube influencers are also there. You can do with them. Loyalty program, like one patient of mine said, doc, I want only Allergan product. I said, why only Allergan? She's like, yeah, because Allergan has this loyalty program in US where my sister does, and every time she does, she gets like 10 units, and then she adds up these units after 4 times, and they share it with their friends. So something like that. So that's a brilliant thing, isn't it? And also you have to incentivize your staff. See, most of the time your staff is dealing with the patient, not you directly. So you tell that for every conversion of one patient, whatever, you can keep the incentive, but keep some incentive for staff, and you will see it really running in your practice. Keep some patient incentive. See, you don't want to tell a patient who got her friend that, look, I'm going to pay you, but in some other way, you can just kind of have a referral policy, but don't kind of slap it on the face, because the friend is not going to like that her other friend was paid something because she got her. Why do some doctors know? This is my last slide. Why are some doctors known as superb injectors and others are not? It's very simple. They talk about it on social events, at conferences. They project themselves as experts. Of course, they invest in learning the skills. I, for all the dermatologists who are listening here, this is not something we read in a dermatology, right? In fact, in any specialty. So we've all learned this. How? Through conferences, from other people, from other experts, webinars, this, that. So I think that it's very important that if you want to really develop this skill, then you have to invest in learning. They believe in the treatment. They are a live example because they do it on themselves. Their practice reflects the standards which are needed to do Botox. Now, I don't do a lot of traditional dermatology. The reason being also partly it is because I do not like the chronicity of the diseases, but more than that, it is because, you know, you have to have your place up to certain standards. Somebody who walks in to do a botulinum, of course, not that others cannot do, but I think it has to reflect in your place. So you also have to, because the patient will judge you by your place before, rather than your skills first. So when they walk into your practice, it should be completely in one line. Of course, they want to make money as well, and it is easy money. They talk to their patients, and they know what the patient wants. So one of my dermatologists who is now practicing in Latur, I don't know if she's on webinar right now. When she was leaving Cutis, she was there with us for some time, and she moved to Latur. She's like, "No, ma'am, ये Botox filler तो नहीं चलेगा मेरे." And she was superb in Botox. So I told her, क्यों नहीं चलेगा? Latur में भी तो है ना patients who want to do it. She's like, yeah, but वो सब Bombay जाते हैं. So what she did nicely is that she established herself as the only expert in that city. And I think she is doing fine. She is struggling because that is what a passion which she wanted to do. So my last question is, where I come to an end before I take the questions. Was this presentation useful and worth your time? Shriyal, can you please put the next, can you put the, and I urge you to please give me your feedback here, because that will also motivate us to give you more webinars, because AM is already planning to have some. Thank you so much. This is not just to please me, but I hope it was worth your time, because I've seriously taken an hour of you. And thank you so much. You can end the poll. First time it was 100%. Thank you so much. And before I go, Shreya, again my screen gets stuck. So you can contact aesthetic medicine, and they will give you the. And yes, for those of you who are dermatologists, I don't know how many are, because somehow this app is only for dermatologists. You must have heard of iDoc Academy, which is an app which is available on your Android as well as your app iPhone. You can download iDoc app, and you just put in a registration number. I think you have to be a dermatologist for this. So we have kind of, there are a lot of free as well as the paid courses there. Start off with the free. I'm one of the faculty and the founder members of that. And if for those of you who really want to know the nitty gritty of where to put, you want somebody to hold your hand, I can do it digitally from here, holding your hand. Please enroll for this, and you will not regret putting your time and money here. And as I said, there are a lot of free presentations here. So this is a full app where it's for a couple of hours where I guarantee you that you will learn the art of botulinum injections. And the last question is that if anybody wants to answer, no force here. Shreyal, can we put up this question, which is my last slide? That do you have a favorite molecule? Botox, Xeomin, Dysport, Neuronox, which one have you? I agree, probably a lot of you may not be Dysport users, though I did get some percentage. I'm surprised. I'm looking forward to using this molecule now. I've heard a lot of international presentations on Dysport, but it wasn't available in India for very long. And so a lot of people, thank you so much. Yes, the results were as expected. Botulinum toxin is more than 75%. Botox is more than 75%. Then follows Xeomin, close to Neuronox and Dysport. Thank you so much. And now we will take some questions.
Yes, Dr. Apratim, we have like around 5 to 10 minutes. So you could look at the Q&A box first. Okay. We have some questions that have come up in the chat, but I think the Q&A box is flooded. So maybe you take 10 minutes to just go through some important questions that you've got.
Yeah, no problem. So yes, the antidote, I think Ashutosh, let me go from the top. Yeah, so if Botox goes wrong, is there an antidote? Yes, there is an antidote, which is very, very expensive. But point is that, what can go wrong? One is if you have, if you inject in the wrong muscle there, you cannot put antidote, right? Like for example, can you see me? Shreyal?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so now if I've injected Botox in the brow and one of the brow goes up, let's say I get like that. So I have two choices. I will either take this also up or get this one down, right? That's one thing. What you're talking is that, because in Botox, and that is where Xeomin comes in question, because Xeomin is a pure molecule and Botox, now I'm talking about the brand, is something which has a lot of proteins in it. Like out of 900 kilodalton, 150 is the molecule and 750 are the proteins. Now these proteins can sometimes start a reaction because they are antigens, and for that there is an antidote which is very expensive, I think, which is available only with one company in India. I've never used it, but I realized that it is more than a lap for one while. So, but usually, I have seen, how do you know that the patient is getting, may have antibody or is not tolerating, is when the results don't come or they don't last very long, only then. You said that you use for 18 years. What's your experience with habituation and not responding? Yeah, so Dr. Rupak, I am using it for 18 years and the same number of years I'm using it on myself also. Now, what is my experience is that patients get addicted in a nice way. Not responding after long years is probably, I have now shifted those patients to Xeomin. And not that, all of them start responding, but there are hardly few patients. And probably at one point in a couple of them, I stopped doing. I told them, look, this is not working. No. So my experience is that people like to get addicted to botulinum. Local anesthesia, Ashutosh, I don't use. As I said, I use that, it's called VAD. If you Google VAD, a vibration anesthesia device, it's a little device, very cute one, which has a light in it, which is a strong vibration. Wherever you put it, it's like a fork shape. You put it and inject, put it and inject. So you can just ask somebody to hold it. How to prevent Spock brow? So to prevent Spock brow, do not over inject this lateral, especially not this part. Right, but sometimes what happens, because there are crows, you will invariably get open the brows. Guys don't like it, females love it. And if at all that happens, you can always inject 1.5 to 2 units here, like 2 centimeter above where the highest Spock point is. I think Ashutosh, we spoke about antidote and medical legal aspects. Can a patient sue you for bad results? No, Ashutosh, nobody can sue you. But here I would say it depends on, see, they can badmouth you in social media. It did happen with one of our patients also. And she just went berserk, putting a negative review on every social media for me. See, such patients will happen. Now we have 5,000 patients whom we would have injected botulinum. I will definitely have 5 10 who are unhappy. but they can't sue you. You have to put it in the consent form very clearly. And for bad results, only thing is, and I think just talking to them nicely and making up for it by some other treatment helps. Chances of hematoma, no, Ashutosh, doesn't happen. You can get a little bruise, like you saw in my video also, which is already there on my YouTube. I did get a little bruise there, and I remember there was a conference and I had to cover it. But hematoma per se will not happen. Probably another question could be that, what it goes intravascular, so what? Nothing will happen. How to charge your patient? As I said, whatever is your cost per unit, double it and charge the patient and add GST to that. Can you please highlight about lateral forehead injections, Dr. Shisteta? So lateral forehead injections here is, I would not go and inject here so much. What I do is normally I do not like to just treat the middle forehead and not treat this. So what I do, I take like 5 units and I inject here. So that also doesn't give me this acutely this fog brows. So I inject 5 units in this and 5 units in this superficially, and the remaining I distribute more in the medial 2/3 of the forehead, if that was your question. Now, facial contouring with Botox. So facial contouring, Tejaswini, is more of treating masseter for me, just relaxing the chin, this something, and added to that we do HIFU or Altera on the face to kind of chisel it. We also use a lot of threads, so I won't say that only Botox is something that can give you a lower chisel face. You will definitely need a HIFU or a contouring or threads or fillers as well. Does the dosage differ with the different brands of botulinum, as it is more or less same? Correct. So dosage doesn't differ, Vandana. For Xeomin and Botox, the dosage are same. They all come in 100 vials. I inject the similar. But when it comes to Dysport, it is different. Dysport is 300 units in a vial, and the in a way 2.5 units of Dysport is equal to 1 unit of Botox. Okay, so it is 1:2.5. So where you have to inject 10 units of Botox, you will inject 25 units of Dysport. Okay, but then in the vial also you get 300. So in a way you are getting 120 units in a vial of Dysport as compared to 100 units of Botox or Xeomin. Yeah. Can we store the Botox which is drawn but not used? Yeah, what, see, you can store, though they say you should discard it. If you're putting it in the refrigerator, in the fridge, not on the door, not on the freezer, you can store it. But don't keep it more than 2-3 weeks, because the fridge keeps opening, and this is a temperature sensitive molecule, so it can get damaged. I remember once, right now, of course, maybe we have some molecule, some Botox in the fridge which is diluted and not used because we haven't gone to clinic for 2 months. But sometimes when what we see is that if it is not used, I kind of just in 2-3 weeks I use it on a staff or somebody, just inventory. But yeah, 2-3 weeks you can always use, no problem with that. Once the ampule is opened and fully used, can be reused for other patients. Yeah, you are only poking it with the sterile syringe. So what you do is, anonymous attendee somebody, that once you open it, no, do not remove the cap. You only plunge the needle in it. So that's a sterile needle going in. Don't put the used needle again. So your vial stays sterile. You can put it. It's no guarantee that you will use all 100 units, right full 100 on one patient. So yes, of course you can use. Can Botox after reconstitution be stored? I would say maximum Guru Reddy, I would store it for 3 to 4 weeks. So the company says is otherwise. I have never thrown my Botox away. I can't just throw it away. Have you come across patients with antibodies to Botox? And see, antibodies, Smita, is a very big topic. It can even have a serum sickness kind of reaction if you study. What I think you mean here is that the Botox stopped working. Yes, as I said earlier, on few patients it has happened. We tried to move them to Xeomin. 2-3 of them responded. Not all of them did. So I suppose 0.01% is probably a failure of my treatments. Botox in asymptomatic COVID carriers. Yes, Ashutosh, that's a very good question. I was expecting it. See, I don't know. I've not got into my practice yet, but we do have some patients who are waiting for Botox. So I think Botox is going to be the first treatment which I will do in this post-COVID time. And yes, once we take all the proper precautions, I don't see any reason that I will not do it. I think I will not hold it back. And that's even not a treatment where it's a lot of breach in the continuity of the skin where they are prone to infection. So no problem. Yes, I do provide training as well. I think whoever has asked the question, you can get in touch. My Instagram handle is cutis.in, cutis.in. And I think the YouTube is Cutis Skin Solutions. So if anybody, Instagram would be a better idea. How many days gap should be given between pre and post for other treatment? Once the action comes on, I would do other treatments like peels and laser hair removal. But when I'm doing something like HIFU or radio frequency, I like to give at least 4 weeks gap. Okay, please do lower face webinar. Okay, Chaitanya, we will do, and I'm sure AM is listening to that because that needs more detailed. We have to work on the muscles, and I think we should do that along with fillers. Please do next presentation, masseter platinum. Yes, so Tanvi, I will do definitely. Thank you so much. But I have a video on YouTube as well as Instagram where I have injected my own masseter. And platisma I've not. Platisma I've done on my mom. So if you want, you can just DM me on Insta. I'll send you the links. Please see that. It's pretty detailed. I hope all of you are also recording some videos in this lockdown time because we are really doing. Which is your favorite molecule, ma'am? Actually, it keeps changing. I hope the company, somebody is hearing it. No, favorite, no. See, patients like Botox. Some of them like Xeomin. Doesn't matter. No favorite per se. Actually, I use all of them. In fact, I've used Neuronox also a lot, and I pretty like it. I won't say it's inferior in any way. How to calculate units to be injected? See, calculation, one is there is a broad category that this, like I have given that category in the slides. I rushed it because Shriyal can give it to you. So let's say glabella. Now we know by the bulk of the muscle that glabella will require somewhere between 16 to 24 units. Now, how much that you have to take a call because you have to feel the muscles, whether it's a male or a female, muscular phase, how broad is the corrugator. So all that will also help you decide. But once you start doing it, see, at most what will happen, go on the lower side. If you don't see enough effect, you can always give a little more. Okay, what about Chinese Korean Botox? Good question, Aisha. I forgot to mention that in my presentation. I would use Chinese. I have nothing against Chinese botulinum. The reason I would not use is because the day I have a problem, I don't know where is China, right? That's one. Korean Botox, Neuronox, if you know, is a Korean Botox. It's available as Meditox earlier. I've used that as well. I have no problem with that. But then I would definitely like to know the company because, as I said, it's not about the molecule. If I run into a problem, like yes, somebody said that CX is effective, and I've used it, Harpreet, and it is. I like it as well. So there's no problem because I know the company backing CX is good. So that's also important. What is the best treatment for those subjects who are in habit of taking Botox as casual? So yes, that's a very good question, Safi Abbas Rizvi. It happened with me that there was a patient, she would come like 10 units, she would come weekly, she would come twice a week. So I have to say this, that, sometime I would only say that, okay, we would put saline, okay, placebo. But she started coming for placebo also, she would be like, I used to feel pity, but there was nothing which I could never talk to her and walk her out of it. So I think that you just have to do a real talk with them because you are also at risk. Once I remember I calculated in a year the dosage, it went very high for this patient, and that day, I sat down with her. She did call for appointments a couple of times, but I think that's where your Dr. Genes have to kick in. Yes, brow lift, Swapnali. So if you're only doing brow lift, then you can just 6 to 8 units on the, you know what, you just message me. I don't know how to show on this camera. Where do you inject? As a beginner, which molecule should we start with in your opinion? You know, any molecule you can start with. You can start with Dysport. You see, pick up a company which will give you enough training and confidence. And if something goes wrong, the company people will support you. They can even come and talk to your patient and explain that this is it, this is it. Because it should not happen that you, because of cost, you pick a cheaper molecule. Okay. Now, when you have a problem, there's nobody with you. Uh, people just walk out, and then you are traumatized for your life, and you will never be able to use this again. So that's what is important, that you be with all these, Xeomin, Dysport, they are standard companies. They have a good backup and training. In fact, they will also not be eager that you start injecting till they feel that you are trained. Or you can take a course, like we have a course on training for a few days. Can a dentist practice after getting? Yeah, I think so. Jay, this has been a lot of debate. A lot of dentists are doing it. I don't know how dentists are less capable. By dentists, I mean MDS. I don't know. I don't know the curriculum of a BDS, but we've done this face-to-face conference with MDS and plastic surgeons and dermats, and it was a big success. So I think yes, you guys know faces much better. Problem with that. Anaphylaxis, no, I have not encountered. There was a little urticarial type of reaction in a patient where we had to give hydrocortisone. That was just one patient. Now it still remains, found to be found whether it was something which he ate or because it happened all over the body. But no, this is not something which I have seen. Where in India is skin marking pencils available? There are lots available. If you don't get, you can buy Lakme ki white eye pencil. The kohl pencil where you have Kareena Kapoor, use that one. That's fantastic. Or you can use Uniball, that gel markers by the Uniball company. You get it at the stationery shop. I like to use that, Ashutosh. So now let's see, if you are trying to do, first of all, whenever you do crows, you do get a lift of the brow, right? Now, if you want to also lift on medial, you have to do the corrugator also. So you probably want to inject this. It's in the mirror, so that is for the entire brow lift. So when you are doing glabella and you are doing the crows, you will definitely get. But if you only want to lift this part, then I only inject 8 units in this part, the lateral brow, 1 centimeter outside the orbital margin. Some of the patients complain of pain on the injected points. Why is this so? Yeah, because forehead there is no fat. You probably have gone closer to the bone. It can happen, but it goes away. So here it's important that you just inject under the skin. Like give a very superficial injection. You've probably gone deeper, and the more deeper you put, it can hurt. So you're probably on the periosteum. Local anesthesia, Ashutosh, is not needed. And have I missed some? Overdose? No, overdose shouldn't happen, I think. Shriyal, is there any question which I have not answered? Because
no, I think most of has been
monopolar, bipolar RF treatment in combination with Botox. Yeah, so as I said, for 1 month after Botox, I don't do monopolar, bipolar RF. I don't even do HIFU. And especially also with fillers, I don't do that. But before that, you can do. To know the depth of the injection, how deep. So I don't know who's my phone. Depth of the injection, no, it will depend on the muscle. Now, wherever, like for example, the masseter here, it is a deep muscle and it has a superficial belly and a deep belly. So one of the injection I put is deep, another one I put is superficial. Corrugator. You have to actually understand, who's ever question this is the anatomy. So take a skull or, take one of these online anatomy 3D sessions. So you will know like corrugator is a deep muscle. It lifts and it comes out. It's like this actually. So first injection is always deep because you want to actually give into the bulk or the belly of the muscle. Then it comes superficially. So the second or third injection, depending on the weight, I would give superficially rather intradermal. So there is no fixed depth. You have to know which muscle you're injecting. And again, the face, like my face has thin skin now because of age or whatever. So when I'm doing for a more chubby face, I want to put it more deeper into the muscle. So it will totally depend on who the patient is, and then there's no fixed depth of. Sometimes, when we do for masseter, we don't even use there are 6 millimeter and 8 millimeter needles, but then there are special ones which are 13 millimeter. So for masseter injections, I use those because otherwise, even my 8 millimeter cannot reach deep.
Dr. Apratim, we will have to bring this session to an end. So if there is a last question you want to take on from the list, we could take that. And maybe if there are any pending questions, we can communicate it later with our attendees over email.
Sure. So how many days do you wait if you need to re-inject? I think we did answer this, Smita. I like to wait for 2 weeks because I want the full effect of Botox to come before I re-inject. Somebody said, what is Borchini? I don't know. I don't believe in all this magic, Smita. I think it is one of the marketing gimmicks. So thank you so much for joining. I think we have crossed 25 minutes now.
Yes, but with all the feedback coming in and what an interesting session, I thought we could just take that extra time. It was all worth it. Thank you so much, Dr. Apratim, for all the time. Thank you all our attendees for joining us today. A quick update on our next session. Coming up next is this Tuesday on May 12th, 6 to 7 p.m. We have Harshal Limai, the founder and CEO of Marketing.Doctor, joining us. It's his second session with us, again on demand, coming from all our attendees. So he will be focusing on how to find new patients in your practice. So the patient journey is what we're going to look at. If you'll wish to see Dr. Apratim's video again, you'll want to refer to it for any points, please log on to our website. I also mentioned it right at the beginning, aestheticmed.in. We have most of our webinar videos recorded and available on the website. For anything that you additionally require, you could please write in to me as well. And since you view the videos, do not forget to subscribe to the Aesthetic Medicine India YouTube page. Like our Facebook page, and also follow us on Instagram, Aesthetic Medicine India. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.